I'm honestly really sitting here trying to figure out how to start this video.
Only because you ain't in.
Hey y'all, so my name is Hannah and this is my channel, Beauty for Ashes, where my sole purpose really is just to show
Only
how
because
God is
you
using me for my
ain't
ashes, and that it doesn't matter what you have been through in life, you can still have a beautiful life. It can still be in your cards, whether you think it can be or not. There was a lot of things in this life that statistically I was supposed to be a part of. Another statistic, and I'm not. I'm already getting emotional. So today I kind of just want to talk about that. One of them being an addict, how it was growing up, having a parent as an addict, and how it's almost guaranteed that you will too become an addict as a child with a parent as one, but how I didn't become part of that statistic, and how I changed the narrative for me and I chose a different path, and why I believe even more that one of my purposes in this life is to stand in the gap for my family and my bloodline, and that it ended with me and something new will start with me for my family to come. One of the things I wish for a lot is that I was who I am today back then, because I might have been able to have, actually I know I would have been able to have more grace and more understanding. But growing up in that type of environment, I didn't have anybody to make me feel like I should have that grace and that understanding. For as long as I could remember, my mom was always an alcoholic. At one point, she was also on pills. I knew my mom to just be an addict. That was it. My childhood was pretty chaotic. My dad had a lot of anger for my mom as well, which he kind of poured that into us as well. And that's why I say I didn't really have the people that I needed to help me process my mom being an addict. It was just everybody kind of made it worse. There was nobody to give us knowledge about what an addict is and what it means to have addictions and what comes from it. Nobody was teaching us that. It was just like fueling anger and fueling hate and just fueling all of the wrong things. I feel like I had the absolute bare minimum. I mean, I had no room for understanding. I didn't want to understand. I didn't care to understand. I was just filled with so much anger towards my mom, and it ruined and robbed me of so much. I really hope that the right people watch this video, and I hope that it reaches who it needs to, because not only do I want to discuss what alcohol did to me and my family and my sisters, but I also want to talk about, or maybe help somebody understand what addiction is and how it's not a choice, it's a disease, and it's an awful sickness. And I just want more people to try to have more grace and understanding with the addicts in your life. I'm not saying that you have to accept who they are and what they do, because that was something I didn't want to do. But I wish I had been the woman I am today for my mom, because she needed that. She needed that so much. She needed me to pray for her. She needed me to hold her hand. She needed me to tell her I believe in her. She needed all of that. And I don't think my mom had anybody around her to do that. I might still have her today had I been able to be that person for her, but I don't want to dwell on that and I don't want to think about that. So here we go. In today's society, alcohol is so normalized. Everybody drinks. It's so looked over and looked past because of how much we have put it in everything, and alcohol literally tore my family apart. I was robbed of so many things off just alcohol, like just alcohol. Growing up in my young years, I would drink alcohol every now and then, but it was something that I hated. I told myself I didn't want to drink. I would never drink like that. I didn't start drinking heavily until my dad passed away, and I was in the also mix of this very abusive relationship, and that's when I started drinking alcohol very heavily. But before that, you could ask anybody in my life, Hannah and alcohol just didn't go together. I would maybe have one drink a year. I didn't like alcohol. I'm actually 5 months sober now that I decided I just wanted to cut it out completely for a couple reasons, of course, because of my childhood and everything that I know alcohol to be, but also it just doesn't align with where I'm going in life and the things that I talk about and the direction that I feel like God is pushing me. Alcohol just doesn't fit into that. I don't think it's bad to have a drink every now and then, but I mean, it can ruin your life, honestly. We as a society have made it so it's nothing, and I don't think people really understand the magnitude of it. My mom would literally drink from sun up to sundown. Everything had to have alcohol included. And as a child, it was so normal to us. I remember me and my little sister growing up in bars. I mean, we were at bars all the time as little kids, okay? There used to be a bar where we live. It was right on the beach. And my mom would pick us up from school or wherever we were at, and me and my little sister would be downstairs playing at the beach while my mom was upstairs drinking her life away. That was our life every single day. It was so normal to us, and I didn't really know what was going on until later in life. I was forced to grow up so young. I was a mom to my little sister. I was in like 4th grade, okay, being a mom because of how hectic and chaotic our childhood was. I say all the time, it's really a blessing to be alive today. It's a blessing that I'm sane in my mind. It's a blessing that I'm not a crackhead on the streets or in a psychiatric ward. I'm telling you, I really shouldn't. I mean, the fact that I'm sitting here today because of the environments and the places I were in as children, I don't know how we're here right now. Growing up, my mom was like in and out of rehab. She was in and out of jail. My dad finally ended up getting custody of me and my little sister, so he raised us majority of our life. And my mom was so in the streets, she just wasn't around. There were things that, I mean, kids need both parents. I don't care what y'all say. They need their mom and they need their dad. So being a little girl, being raised by a man, it's hard. Like, it was hard. My dad did the best he could, but there were things that I needed my mom for that she was completely just non-existent from. Are people to this day, like friends that I grew up with, that remember my mom being an alcoholic. Coming up to our school, there was always police at our house. There was always police at my school. Some of y'all are gonna know. You know, me and my little sister were the kids that they would come pull out of class and talk to us about how are things at home. Maybe times my mom was nowhere to be found. She was supposed to come pick us up from school, and we were staying 1-2 hours late from school because nobody knew where my mom was. She was somewhere like drunk. Even growing up into our young adult life, nobody wanted my mom to come to the functions, to the birthday parties, to the holiday stuff, because we just knew that she was gonna come drunk, she was gonna come causing problems. It was always something. I know society has made drinking alcohol so normal, and it's like, I can control myself, but guys, there's so many people in this world who have a problem and don't think they have a problem. And that's what they tell you in the AA meetings. The first step is admitting. I remember being a child having to blow in her, what are they called? The breathalyzers? Yes. Have y'all ever blown in a breathalyzer? I mean, that's not something normal. People just don't have breathalyzers on their car, but those things are very hard to breathe in, okay? So I'm in the 4th grade trying to start my mom's car, blowing in this breathalyzer. I mean, it was insane. My mom would be in and out of rehab. Of course, nothing ever stuck, from the breathalyzers to the rehab to the jail to all this stuff. And about 2 years before she passed, it finally caught up to her. Mom loved being behind the wheel, drunk, okay? And me and my sisters would all say the same thing. We could never forgive her had she taken somebody else's life because of what she would do. By no means do I condone drinking and driving. I don't condone, I don't condone any of that, but my mom was one of those people. By the grace of God, she never hurt anybody else. I wish that the system took alcohol more seriously, because maybe my mom would just still be in jail right now. She would still be alive. My mom got sentenced to prison because of all of her DWIs. When my mom was in prison, I wrote her a really long letter because, like I said, I feel like me and her relationship was the most damaged because of how long I spent my life angry at her. I just couldn't understand. I could not wrap my head around how alcohol could be so much more important than your kids. I just couldn't understand it. I used to beg her, like, just please stop. And I understand now that she couldn't. She couldn't stop. But because I spent so much of the time that I had her angry at her, I missed out on a lot. I just didn't want to be around her when she was drunk. And when we would spend time with each other and she wasn't drinking, I would tell her, like, it was such a good day. I would tell her all the time. Oh, y'all. Addiction robs people of so much. I don't like crying on camera, y'all. I swear. It's not for attention. I don't like crying on camera. I would tell my mom all the time, like, we had such a good day. We had such a good day. I'm so glad you didn't drink today. I couldn't stand being around her when she was drinking. None of my friends knew that my mom was an addict. I kept my friends away from her. It was so embarrassing to me. And when my friends would, the couple friends, and when I say couple, I mean like 2, they saw firsthand how it was in my household. And it was so embarrassing. I didn't want anybody to know that my mom was an alcoholic. It was so embarrassing to me and I was so ashamed. I just wanted like a normal mom. I would cling to my other friends' moms. I'm so thankful for the women that I had in my life, my friends' moms. They know who they are. I appreciate them so much. All of the things that I wished I could do with my mom, I did with them. And I'm so thankful. So my mom went to prison. She got sentenced to, I can't exactly remember how long she got sentenced to, but it was like 1.5 years, maybe. It might've been 2 years. I can't really remember. I wrote her a long letter and I told her, like, look, I forgive you. I just want to start over. We can build our relationship. When she got my letter, she called me and just told me like how much she appreciated it. Now she wanted to work on our relationship. My other two sisters were the closest with her. It hurt not having my mom. Me and my mom would go like months and months and months without speaking, and it hurt. I just felt like she didn't care about me. She didn't care that we didn't speak. Oh man, I was robbed of so much. When my mom got out of prison, she got out in September, I believe, of 2018. She was doing so good. I remember the first night I realized she was drunk, and I was crushed. I'm like, why? Like, why? This was around the time my dad started getting more sick. He was in and out of the hospital, and I remember my mom called me one night. My dad was in the hospital. She called me to check on him, and she was drunk. And I remember I was on my way home to my dad's house because I live with my dad, and it was just me and my dad. I took care of my dad. So I was driving home. I was going through a lot because it was so hard being the only one taking care of my dad. And I was crying to her, and I was like, Mom, I need you. I need you to be okay. I need you to be sober because I can't lose you. I can't lose you. And then I lost her about a month later. My mom had been out of prison for 2 months and died in a car accident. Not only just do I mourn my mom, period, but as of lately, I have really been mourning everything that she wasn't to me. I watched like these videos and just people that I know like doing things with their mom. I was watching a video the other day on TikTok of this girl literally just recording her doing a vlog, spending the day with her mom, and they started out at Starbucks, and then they went here and they went there, and that was just not, I didn't get to experience doing that with my mom. So when you ask why I don't drink and why when I have kids, I will never, my kids will never, ever, ever, if I have kids, whether I have kids or I just have a husband, that is just not something that will be introduced in their life. I never want my kids to look at something and not understand why I'm picking something else over them over and over and over and over again. I know society has made alcohol so normal. It's so normal to get drunk 5 days out the week. It's so normal to get drunk 2 days out the week, every weekend. It's so normal, and it's like, it's not normal. So proud of myself for being 5 months sober, because statistically, like I said, statistically, I too am supposed to be an addict. My mom's mom was an addict. My mom was an addict. Some of her siblings were addicts. I'm choosing to not be. I will not be a statistic. God has chosen me to stand in the gap for my family, and I will do that. I pray that if you are struggling with addiction, or if you know somebody that is struggling with addiction, that you just be a light in their life. Don't stop praying for them. I know it's hard. It was hard for me, but addiction is not a choice. It is a disease. It is a sickness. I don't care what anybody says. It is not a choice. So pray for them. I'm praying for you. If you are that person, I'm praying for you. And I pray that God gives you the strength. And I pray that you come to realize who you belong to. And you are made to be more than your addiction. I'm always here to speak life into anybody, to pray for you if you are struggling with that, or you know somebody who is struggling with addiction and you need strength, to pray for them and to be there for them. Please send me a message. I would love to talk about this more and to give you what you need to be the light in your life, or to be the light in somebody else's life.
Don't you forget it,